Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is 𝗬𝗫, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. As you can hear in my voice, I am still dealing with a little bit of lingering allergies and congestion, so I do apologize if my voice is a little bit off today, but of course, I wanted to come on and share today's collective reading video because it's Monday, and I do channel these collective readings every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a little heads up for those of you who may be new here to the channel. And I would love to have you tuned in here on those times and days if you feel guided to be here. So there's a lot that I want to say and a lot that I feel is going to come up in this reading. There's a very strange blend of things happening collectively right now. And of course, we're going to be using the cards to discuss all of this and really go deeper into these messages as well. And so I'm hearing the darkness is coming together with the light. There's a lot of intermingling happening between extremes. I feel that there is a lot of extreme love, a lot of extreme positivity. And on the other end of things, at times, there is a lot of triggered shadow as well. And I've kind of been trying to wrap my own mind around this so that I can share some message on this with those of you who are tuned in here. But it's a bit strange because this energy is really difficult to name and define and put into words. The word conflict is coming out here. So first of all, we're of course going to go layer by layer into this, and I'm going to do my best to describe this dynamic and to help empower you along the way. Because I'm hearing you are part of the light. You are part of a collective that is shining so radiantly. And as a result of that, you are most likely experiencing both extremes at this time. And this can create a feeling of conflict or tension. Now, for some of you, these extremes may be showing up in your own life. Now, my guides are already coming in to say that these extremes seem opposite, but are actually connected. Almost like instead of, well, I guess it's that saying like two sides of the same coin. There's actually something really beautiful happening here. I'm hearing a transformation within you and within your life. And both extremes, both what the mind might consider to be negative and what the mind would label as positive, I'm hearing are two different perceptions of the same beautiful transformative process taking place. Maybe for some of you listening lately, some of those things that you would consider as negatives are actually related to things about yourself that are extremely beautiful, positive traits about you that have this other side to them that you might label as negative. But I keep getting that that's just a label, and maybe even one that has been artificially picked up by society, by other people's ideas or limiting belief systems. So, this could go in so many different directions. And I know that we're going to get into all of this, but one very specific example is coming up here. Now, this may or may not relate to you exactly, but this is an example of what I kind of mean here. For some reason, I heard the smoke screen has been lifted. Interesting. And we will talk about that. But I'm getting that, for example, you could be someone who has always labeled yourself as sensitive, as too emotional, and yet you are also someone who has always been extremely spiritually tapped in. I'm hearing someone who's able to see or sense into other realms, into energies that surround us, that most people are unaware of. And so it's almost like you are sensitive to things because you're perceiving things that are very real spiritually and energetically that most people aren't able to see or perceive. I'm hearing you're judging yourself by the wrong standard. So it's almost like if you've been labeling yourself in this exact specific example, of course, this won't be for everyone. This is just like one small case study of this overarching energy that we're diving into here. And my guides are saying that this is going to help provide an example of what we're talking about with like the light merging with the darkness, with the smoke screen being lifted. Anyway, in this exact example, your sensitivity was never a weakness. It was speaking to your ability to sense and perceive into realms, into energies, into dynamics that most people don't have access to. It's almost like you are perceptive of and therefore reacting to things that are very real, but that other people don't necessarily fully perceive or understand. I'm hearing the oracle. It's almost like for someone I'm channeling into here, you are the oracle of modern times. And I'm hearing just like an oracle would often have to retreat back into some cave or private space and do these like rituals and things that no one else on the outside would really understand, but would kind of be in awe of at the same time. You often have to retreat back into your personal space, into your own energy, and do things to get yourself into alignment, to clear your energy. Maybe these are literal rituals for you. Maybe they are certain forms of routines or things that you do to keep yourself in balance that other people may not understand. But then through whatever you're doing, these rituals allow you to more clearly access and channel a higher energy that, just like the oracles that are very well known of past times, their insights were extremely valued because people understood that they were tapped into something real and something valuable, even if they themselves couldn't fully understand it or perceive it. So I don't know why, well, I actually do know why in this case I felt guided to kind of share that analogy of you being the oracle, because I feel that you've always had a way of doing things that other people may consider strange or unusual or may just not understand. And yet I'm feeling this sense of, again, like the smoke screen being lifted, meaning people are beginning to realize the value of what you are doing, what you are creating, how you show up in the world, even your sensitivity. Even if they still don't fully understand it or comprehend it, they're like, wait a second, you're onto something here. Wait, you're tapped into something very real that I can't fully perceive. And I'm hearing the key is for the oracle to realize that they are an oracle. For these beautifully spiritually tapped in sensitive one to realize that they aren't crazy, that they aren't sensitive just for the sake of being sensitive, but they're actually in tune, and that they have something very valuable to offer the world because of that attunement. And I feel this major aha moment, for lack of a better word, that's been happening within you. And it's so beautiful to witness, because what's happening within you is you are the oracle remembering that they are an oracle. You are the spiritual being remembering just how spiritually deep and tapped in and attuned you are. And I feel that you are finding some way to capitalize on these abilities, or to leverage them. That's a good word. To leverage these abilities that you once didn't fully understand and maybe even labeled as weaknesses because you were taught to do that. You're now leveraging them to your benefit in some way, or to benefit the collective whole through something that you are doing, creating, through maybe you are somehow, I'm hearing merging the spiritual with the physical or with the material. So maybe you are quite literally beginning to merge things like your finances or your career or business ideas or creations that you're putting out into the world, merging that with these spiritual gifts and abilities that you've always had, like beginning to make your life one living, breathing love letter to the divine. That's actually a quote that I channeled this morning. When I was doing my meditating, I found myself writing, your life is a living, breathing love letter to the divine. And that's what I'm getting so strongly for someone listening here. Like, you've been waking up to the truth that you've always been this oracle. I'm hearing spiritual seer. Like, you've always been able to see, to sense, to perceive into realms, into energies that other people can't understand. And this actually allows you access to information and abilities and gifts that maybe a part of you always took for granted because it came so naturally to you. But you're beginning to wake up to the fact that these gifts are actually extremely valued, because not everyone has, everyone technically has the ability to have access to these abilities, to these gifts within themselves. And of course, it feels part of your purpose is to wake people up to that, knowing that they have access to the same gifts and abilities within themselves. However, the majority of people never even begin to touch or remotely access those abilities. They're completely closed off. And I'm hearing that you are one who's always been unapologetically open to others, living with your heart open to new ideas, new possibilities, and open to the spiritual realm, in the sense that there's always been kind of an open channel of energy between you and what's happening spiritually in a particular social environment, in a collective. And so, okay, let's kind of get down to this. So when I say the smoke screen is being lifted, yes, the light side of this is you have a lot of people waking up to the true value of what you have to offer the world. Even if they don't fully understand your spiritual side, they're beginning to realize the value in it. I'm hearing even if they're locked out of those realizations, like consciously, because of their limiting belief system. Now, what I mean by that is someone may have limiting belief systems that prevent them from really exploring the spiritual realm or the divine. And that, of course, is entirely their free will choice and maybe the path that their soul chose for some reason in this lifetime. So I'm not infringing on that in any way, but sometimes because they're locked within those belief systems, they may be unable to allow themselves to acknowledge how spiritual you are consciously, and yet they have this deep sense of the value that comes out of that spiritual nature. And even those individuals really locked in whatever kind of limiting dynamic they may be in, even those individuals are seeing you in a different light. They are seeing the value of what you are offering the world, the value of how you move, how you operate, how you show up in the world. And so that is a truly beautiful thing. But the other side of that coin is that some people are feeling really triggered by it. And I don't know how else to say this, because I keep seeing this showing up in the collective, especially the last week or a couple weeks. And this won't be for everyone, but for some of you listening, I want to help you understand why this is happening if this is for you. In just, I would say, the last couple weeks, as of when I'm recording this, or maybe of when you're finding this video, because these videos are technically timeless. So whenever you find this, there's most likely some message here for you. But I've noticed this pattern of energies emerging, kind of coming out of the woodwork and reacting in really strange ways. And these are people, energies, or systems that have almost been, I'm hearing they've been tolerating your light. They've been reluctantly kind of tolerating seeing you grow, seeing you heal, seeing you evolve. And I have to say that for some of these energies, I'm hearing trauma bonding. I don't know why that's coming through. Maybe some of these energies in the past really wanted to like trauma bond with you, or to kind of like commiserate with you at a certain level of vibration that they were comfortable with. And maybe even for a while, that was part of your path and you outgrew that dynamic. These really feel like people and dynamics you've spiritually and energetically outgrown. And they are seeing you, I'm hearing they're seeing you do this. Like when I say that, this is like all encompassing for you showing up for yourself, you becoming more conscious, you leading the way for others, you becoming the best version of yourself. And I feel that there are these certain people, energies, or situations that have been seeing you become this best version of yourself, seeing you become more confident, more genuinely happy, more authentic, and even more so, they're now beginning to notice that people are seeing you for your heart. I feel that saying like everything hidden in the heart is coming to life. Coming to light, interesting, coming to life. That might mean something for someone, but I feel like everything that's been hidden in the heart is coming to the surface, being exposed. So someone like you is currently being exposed for how open-hearted you are, how generous and kind you are with your time, with your energy, even maybe with material things for some of you. You're being exposed for how you've always had genuine, pure intentions. Even if there were times in the past you were misunderstood, I feel like you're being exposed for all of these beautiful traits and qualities that you've always had, but that people really never appreciated or saw you for. And I feel that the opposite exposure is happening for others as well. People who have been trying to hide that they've been feeling resentful or that they've been feeling extremely negatively about you, for example. Because that's truly the sense I get, is there are certain people, things, individuals, whatever this is, that have been almost like building this resentment for your light behind the scenes, building this feeling of, it's a tolerating. That's what I keep getting. And I'm getting that you felt this for a while because you would walk on eggshells around these individuals or places, spaces, whatever this is for you. But I'm hearing this is where the rubber meets the road, as they say, where it's not even that you're trying to trigger them. It's just that your light has gotten so bright and people are noticing so profoundly and praising you for it. I'm hearing you're being talked about, even if you're not being praised to your face. People are positively talking about you in rooms you've never entered. I'm hearing your name goes ahead of you. It's like you're developing a reputation in the quantum realm. Like people are picking up your energy, whether they know you personally. I feel this major ripple effect. Like you're being talked about by many people in the best way possible. I feel people like praising you privately, like to other people. And it's almost like word is spreading about you way out into the quantum realm. It's sending ripples out. However, that in itself is also one of those triggering factors to these people or individuals who have been harboring feelings of either jealousy or resentment, or really what it is a refusal to face themselves. And it's gotten to the point where now what they've been feeling behind the scenes is being exposed, just like your genuine, pure intentions are being exposed. And I'm hearing they can't hide anymore. It's like they can't hide either their anger or their jealousy or that like negativity or criticism, all of that you were most likely already sensing around these individuals. Because again, I feel that you subconsciously knew not to discuss certain things with them. You knew not to celebrate your successes with them or to tell them when something amazing happened in your life. You knew that not only would they not be able to really celebrate you. But although on the surface, they might act tolerant of your success or of your happiness or of these things happening in your life, you knew that beneath the surface, they were stewing with this energy that was actually meant to heal them, that was meant to push them inward. But I'm hearing it's almost like how something medicinal can become poisonous in a large amount. And what I feel is it's almost like every time they saw you shining, they saw you healing, they saw you thriving, they were being given a dose of this beautiful medicine that was meant to be integrated within them, that was meant to help them heal themselves. But instead of ever taking that medicine, it's like they were storing it all up within them in a way that became kind of like detrimental to their energy system, where it caused them to feel really resentful or really negative about you because they kept taking that beautiful medicinal energy that you were giving them and like rejecting it. And what I'm seeing is this couldn't go on indefinitely. So it's almost reached a point where, like a tipping point, where just like the smokescreen is being lifted on you and you are being revealed for the genuine intentions that you've always had, for the dreams and visions that you've been building privately in your own mind behind the scenes. People are catching flashes and glimpses of this. They're realizing, wait a second, this is the life you were always building. You were always creating. I just didn't see it, but now I'm starting to see it. That's the sense I get around you. But again, that's very triggering to those who haven't been on this path of expansion, haven't been on this path of, I'm hearing fighting themselves. These individuals, they've been fighting and trying to run from themselves, and you've become such a clear and powerful mirror that they quite literally cannot do that in your presence. So I'm seeing that in some cases, some of these individuals may actually suddenly make the jump to like seemingly totally altering how it's like when they reach this tipping point, they have one of two choices. For some of them, they may actually finally fully wake up and look at themselves clearly and make major and sudden positive changes in their life. And you would be shocked, like when you see them suddenly treating you differently, or that connection or relationship suddenly seems to like tip over and transform itself in the most positive ways. But on the other side of this equation, because again, there's a fork in the road here and a decision has to be made by these individuals. So they could choose to change all at once, or they could choose to go entirely unconscious in a moment. I don't mean permanently, but I mean do something from a state of unconsciousness where it's like they lash out at you and project all of that resentment that they've been harboring for seeing you shine so brightly, project all of that all at once in a kind of breaking point sort of way that comes out in a way that surprises you, that might feel as though you were totally blindsided. Because although you always felt that this person was a little bit jealous, a little bit resentful, not really able to celebrate you, they were never forced to see your light so brightly that they were pushed to the point where all of that had to come to the surface all at once. I'm hearing it's being like purged to the surface in a sense. Your light has become so bright that it's purging some of that energy out of people, but they have to choose what to do with it. Like, am I going to allow myself to release this and allow my perception of myself and of this other person in connection to transform positively? Or am I going to have this like breaking point moment of turning that energy against them or projecting it back to them, so to speak? And so I know that this is a really odd dynamic to be channeling into, but I'm telling you, I've seen this happening multiple times over the last couple weeks, especially. And I know that some of you may have felt this way as well, where it's like you're met by a circumstance or a situation or an argument or a conversation, a conflict of some kind that feels totally misaligned with your energy. And I need to talk about this as well, because this is something I've really been meditating on and trying to get a handle on. And I think I understand now, from my perspective at least, what's happening here. You can let me know in the comments if you're experiencing this, what your perspectives are. It's a really complex energy, and this won't be for everyone. But what I'm getting is that you may be having the feeling like, whoa, why is this person reacting this way to me? Or why did this situation come into my life that feels so jarring, that feels like a conflict, that feels disruptive, that feels just sudden? And it's confusing because you feel like you've been, in general, really aligned, really in a beautiful space most of the time. Not that you don't have lower moments, because we all do. We're all human. But I feel that overall, your life has gotten really beautiful in so many ways. And it's almost like, why is this thing happening? Why is this person lashing out? Why am I attracting this situation or this conflict? And I feel that a message from the divine, from what I'm picking up here, is this isn't happening. This isn't happening because there's something misaligned within you. It's actually the opposite. This is happening because you've expanded your energy enough to be able to hold this and process this. The sense I get is that you've healed yourself and strengthened yourself and expanded yourself to the point where you are able to hold something and to process something energetically that's been simmering beneath the surface, that needs to be cleared and cleaned out to allow you to catapult into even higher levels of success and happiness and abundance and love. So it's really strange, because I feel that whatever is coming to the surface is being illuminated to actually allow you to catapult to a higher level of your own joy or peace or success or abundance. But it's happening through the exposure of an energy or a dynamic or something that may have been like a pocket of weird energy beneath the surface that may have been subtly undermining you in some way, but that in the past you weren't really ready to fully allow yourself to transmute, to shift out, to heal in some way. So for some of you, it may be that there's like a person or dynamic that you may feel the need to set boundaries with, that energetically was undermining you in some way, but you had a sense of it, but didn't really fully see the evidence of it. And now that evidence is coming to light. For others of you, this may be indicating something in your life that needs to be let go of to allow you to reach this higher level. And again, the feeling I keep getting around this isn't happening because of something that you did wrong or something even that is misaligned within you. This is actually a sign of your growth, your healing, and the level of spiritual confidence that you've come into, because it's as though the divine, your guides, your higher self, whatever spiritual forces you connect with are saying to you, you are ready to fully see this now and to process it in a way that you weren't able to in the past. I'm also getting that in some cases, an event that happens or may have happened in the last few weeks, it highlights something in your energy that may have been stored away very deep. Something maybe that happened, like a trauma, a negative situation, some point of pain that you held in your energy. And I'm hearing it's safe to put it down now. I almost feel like this was locked away within you because when it happened, you weren't at the level of spiritual expansion to be able to hold it and to process it. So to protect you, your beautiful spirit locked it away and said, okay, we're just going to avoid this room in our metaphorical house where all of this stuff is locked inside. And you just lived around that room. And that was beautiful. And that was perfectly fine and exactly what you needed at the time. But this phase of your life, you are meant to show up as all of you. You're meant to be living in all of the rooms of your house, so to speak. And so the doors being unlocked, things are coming to the surface because You are meant to be feeling more free, more alive, more open, and you're ready to open that door now. So what I'm getting is some of these situations or triggered individuals or things that come up, they may actually connect with something inside that locked room that is being processed out, that is being released. And I'm hearing like, whenever someone has to lock away a part of themselves like that for self-protection, because they're not ready to handle it at the time, what happens is you can continue to be very happy living around it. And most people are. Most people live with many, many rooms inside themselves, locked away with things that they never touch. But over time, it causes you to dissociate, to feel apathetic, to feel somewhat low energy, somewhat disconnected. The reason being that there are so many parts of you internally that aren't allowed to fully breathe, to fully be lived in, to fully be expressed and explored. And so when you're on this path of expansion, as you are someone who has the courage over time, not all at once because it would be too overwhelming, but as it comes up or as you feel guided, as you grow to the point of strength of being able to handle it slowly, I'm hearing actually automatically. It's almost like you're not even unlocking the doors yourself. The divine unlocks those doors automatically as you're ready to process those things. And it's almost like you start working backwards. What I mean is most people progress through life and lock away more emotions and more trauma and more things in more rooms inside themselves and live in less and less of their own being. You do the opposite. When someone has a spiritual awakening, they start working backwards. And so you start turning back the clock. This is why, by the way, you look so vibrant, regardless of your age in terms of earth years. That's really irrelevant. In fact, I feel that often people mistake you for being a lot younger than you are in terms of earth years. This is because when people say your energy and not your age, it's quite literal. When you've had a spiritual awakening and you start opening those doors within yourself, you release stuck, stored energy. And this actually allows you to raise your vibration more easily. It allows you to feel more calm and at home and confident within yourself. It allows you to be more conscious of patterns and dynamics that other people are dealing with because you're more conscious of yourself. And it allows you to show up more boldly in whatever you're doing or creating because you are showing up as all of you. That's why your energy leaves such an imprint, because you bring all of you to the table. Most people are only really showing up as a partial version of themselves because it's what they've had to do for self-protection, for survival. But you are someone who's been on this journey of unraveling all of that within yourself, coming back home fully to like this wholeness, this allness of your being. And that is why everything you create it leaves such a stamp, such an impression, an impact, because you have this kind of energy that's so clear and vibrant and open because of this process of unlocking those doors within yourself and setting your own energy free. That's the best way that I can describe this. And I'm hearing this is quantum healing, which reminds me that I really want to create a subliminal for quantum healing in my subliminals app. Let me know if that's something that you want. I have several subliminals I'm working on. I know I've promised the energetic architect subliminal. I'm also working on one for total abundance mentality. And now I think quantum healing would be a really beautiful one since I already have one for quantum connection. But anyway, you are doing that. You are healing on the quantum level here. And I'm hearing quantum healing doesn't just heal you. It heals I'm hearing villages, although personally, I've never lived in a village, but it's that concept that it heals your entire community. It's interesting. I'm hearing that statement about how like it takes a village to raise a child, or like it takes a village, like a community to do something. But in your case, it takes one to heal a village. It's like you are that one that is quantum healing yourself. And in doing so, wow, this is a beautiful energy, but you are just healing by like this ripple effect in the quantum field, everyone and everything around you as well. Wow, I feel like that's a great pausing point. I will be continuing this reading onto the extended version, so you can listen to the extended on either YouTube memberships or Patreon. I will leave the links to those in the pinned comment and description box underneath the video. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Today was one of those readings where the energy felt a little heavy when I sat down initially. I really had no idea where it was going to go. And I will note that we didn't even end up pulling a single card. And I know that that's because of all of the powerful energy that every single one of you brought to this reading. So thank you for being part of this beautiful, mutually supportive virtual community here on YouTube. I am sending you all huge amounts of love. Take care. Have a beautiful start to your week. And I will connect with you here again in Wednesday's reading.